All right, so Apple dude, right? Apple executive Tony Blevins fired over a TikTok video. Not that he made, that he was on. Who's the guy that one of them guys, Daniel Mack, one of them dudes that runs up and be like, "What do you do for a living?" Do you think that shit's corny? Or do you think it's good content?
I like his style of content. That's cool. I like the ones too where they're like, "Oh, what kind of clothes are you wearing?" I'm not mad about that.
That one's fun.
I've seen
That's
way
fun.
worse, you know, because it's like, okay, that guy might say something insightful, you know, because he's like, "Oh, what job do you do?" And then like, "How did you get that job?" Like that's more business oriented. I'm cool with that content.
Yeah, I honestly I like the content. I think it's good content. I just wouldn't want to be that guy. Because like eventually, like, dog, every day you're asking, "Hey man, what do you do for a living?" Like, I don't know, bro. It's like,
and I feel like it's like scripted too. Sometimes he'll ask them, "What do you do for a living?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, man, I do this." And they'll be like, "Yo, you want to pull up to the crib?" It's like, bro, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah,
we know
yeah.
you guys talked before this to plan this video. It's just like probably when he first started. It's just like how you say about the Vic Blend shit. You know, you're just cutting people up.
Vic Blends is a cornball, bro.
I think this guy's a cornball. It's just like you're doing the same exact shit every single video. And okay, cool. How is this helping you in the business world if you just say what you do?
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's not helping anybody. You're not giving game. You're not telling anybody. They just say it and then just skirt off. Like, what did that do for my brain?
Right.
For 15 to, oh, I could be a data analyst. Wow.
Right.
I could drive a SMG. Like, what? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's just interesting enough where you want to know, like, what does this guy do? Like, you know, you're kind of interested. But only thing I don't like is the optic of, like, that the guy asking is like so ambitious. He wants to, like, bro, you're just asking people what they do for a living. Like, that's the most like base level thing. Because I remember we had a homie, every time he'd see someone in a nice car, he'd be like trying to pull them off, like, "Can we talk?" "Bro, I'm the hardest working guy I know. Just show me how to get to the top. How do I get there, man? I work harder than anyone I know." And I was,
why are you doing the accent?
I know the accent's so perfect.
Y'all know who I'm talking about, bro. And I'll be like, man, looking at it now, especially, it's like, that doesn't make you ambitious or like a real hustler, because you keep flagging down people with nice shiny objects.
Yeah.
And like, "Bro, show me how to get there. I work so well." You're working hard. Well, what's the plan? Show me, like, what do you have a... Also, everyone always says you should have a 5-year plan, but I wonder, no one ever says, "Well, I'm in year 3 of my 5-year plan. So in the next 2 years, and then I'll make another 5-year plan." People always be like, "You should always have a 5-year plan," but they never talk. No one's ever like, "Yo, I'm actually at year 2, so I'm actually planning for those next 3 years."
I think it's more so like a personal thing, like your own personal 5-year plan. That's not something you share with people, like 5, 10, 15, 20
or like
year
your
plan.
progress of the years. Like, I don't think I would tell people, because it's like, I feel like you just scope it out in your head or have it down on a board or whatever the fuck it is. 5 years is
Why don't you want to tell
wild.
people?
Huh?
Why wouldn't you want to tell people?
How often do people ask? That's like, it's like, I feel, especially in the place that I am right now, it's like I could focus for my year right now and then see where that year takes me to see my 5-year plan.
But if you did have a 5-year plan, you wouldn't feel comfortable like speaking on it?
I feel it makes it a little bit more real. You know, when you speak on it, there's certain things that, okay, I do want to do that in 5 years, but am I going to be in that space? Like, what, like, shit might change. You know, it's like speaking about something in the future, it's like, or like writing down in your, I feel like that's something for you to write down by yourself. I just wouldn't express it to you, because it's like, okay, 5 years later, I'm doing some completely different shit. Oh, bro, see, the 5-year plan's working out now.
That's why you gotta grind during them 5 years. Make sure, I don't know, I feel like when you speak on, like, you voice your actual goals and whatnot, there's weight to that, because then you actually have to be held accountable. If I tell y'all, 3 years, I'm gonna have shit scaled to this, you ain't got shit to look. If you're not have nothing to look back on, like, did I actually do any of the shit I said I'd do in these last 3 years? And it's like, if you just have it kept to yourself, then there's nothing holding you accountable. Then you just living and going. Next thing you know, you're
accountability.
I would say business plan is different than 5-year plan. Like, let's say, okay, we're all talking about business. Okay, what's your business plan? Okay, yada yada yada.
Well,
that's
5-year business
which
plan.
might fit into a business, but like that's a conversation I'll have probably with like a financial advisor or something. But like 5-year plan is just not something a regular business talk like conversation. Like, you're not going to a table talking about that.
Like, I would talk to you guys.
I feel like that's
about
super
it.
common. Like, people that are up there, I feel like, because maybe it's the conversations that are being had, but people that are in like the business world, or like all the big, you know, guys that you just see that are on their business shit, I feel that's really often, what's your 5-year plan? Do you have a 5-year plan in place? Like, what do you see your progression of your business? What's like, that's a really common question, honestly.
I feel like it's something that gets asked after they've built something. You know what I mean? That's why I'm talking about, like, once you've had that year of doing the business or whatever business that you're pursuing. Yeah. Like, for example, with you and Turo, what is it, like 2 years now?
A little over a year.
That's a different conversation.
So it's like you once you have like maybe 5 cars and stuff like that, at that point the 5-year plan comes to you a little bit easier when you're talking about the Turo business.
But you're doing your stuff right now. You're taking your courses and whatnot.
Yeah. Once I have like a certain amount of clientele, like I have an idea in my head about like what I want to invest into when I do have a certain amount of capital, but I don't like it's just that there's a lot of variables that might change that outcome. But you know, like I understand what you're saying. I just feel like I haven't built something yet. Once I have a little bit of the business built a little bit more, that's when I could give a better visualization. Like for example, with SMMA, they'll start off with like the base.
What's SMMA?
Social media marketing agency.
Oh, okay.
So it's like they'll start off with like base pricing for people, but then once you get better, you could do base plus performance. Base is just like you're just charging an initial fee, and then base plus performance is you're charging the initial fee, and then you're going to take a percentage from each one of the sales you get. Mm-hmm. And then you could just do purely performance, and then you go into equity. So that's one of the things. It's like I need to get past the base level for me to figure out more of my 5-year plan.
Like for example, let's say you're like, all right, I want to start Turo, right? And then we're like, immediately after you say that, we're like, all right, what's your 5-year plan? You don't really have a 5-year plan. You can't say, all right, by year 3, I want to increase by 20, 30%. You don't have any numbers to say what you're going to do, right? Because you've already been in the game, you have cars, you have like movement towards what you're doing. It's way easier for you to say, okay, in year 5, I want to have this because I've seen this, versus like starting from just, like you don't have that business plan set. You don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
But then in which case...
I mean, you should still have a goal in mind.
But if I didn't have a 5-year plan, then that would be the answer. Unfortunately, I don't have a 5-year plan. I know what I'm going to keep like working toward, but then you just don't have one. But it's not that it's not a relevant conversation. Like everyone doing... You should have goals and like things that you're holding yourself accountable to over time, and like should have a plan for maybe what next year is going to be like, next few years. Ideally, a 5-year plan would be ideal. I'm not even saying I have a 5-year plan in place, but I think if you're talking to anyone like Grant Cardone, like anyone talk to you, like you wouldn't want to be that off guard by them saying like, so what's your 5-year plan? What do you see the next 5 years looking like for you? I could give you a rough estimate, but I get what you're saying about the numbers stuff, but probably something to think about.
The part about holding yourself accountable, I feel like that's like writing it down in your journal.
But no one sees it.
No one does see it, but you have to see it. You have to keep it.
But that's what he's saying. He's saying it's better if somebody else sees it because you have somebody else to hold you accountable. So like people do that, like the self-help talk. They're like, oh, okay, if you want to get stuff done, tell a buddy. Accountability partner, so that they know that you know what you're supposed to be doing at that time.
I would feel like I would tell you guys.
I mean, that's fine. Like, yeah, that's great. That's good. But that he said if you're just holding it by yourself, you shouldn't do that. But
all right. Well, anyways, this guy has to definitely generate a new 5-year plan, man. Executive